The Houston real estate market was on fire last year, and right now I don't see much changing. And so I get asked all the time what my predictions are going to be for the upcoming year. And so right now I'm going to break down the top 6 things that I think are going to happen in the greater Houston metro for this year. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, stay tuned. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Aaron, and every week I'm helping buyers relocate to and throughout the greater city of Houston and the surrounding suburbs. So if you need to know anything about where to eat, sleep, live, play, hit me up morning, noon, or night. I'm your guy. It doesn't matter if you're a day, a week, a month, a year, 2 years, or 3 years out. I would love to be a resource to you. If this is not your first time here, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below and tell me where you're watching this video from. It really encourages me to keep doing content just like this for you. So sit back and let's hop right back into it. The Houston real estate market was on fire, and even though we have seen over the last several months some things cool down, it still on average has performed historically better than we have in the past. And so this year I continue to feel as though we're going to see a lot more of the same. For those that are really financially sound and financially able to make a decision and move forward, this is going to continue to be an outstanding market for you. It's also going to be a great market for people that are realistic about what they can do in today's financing game. Things have changed a lot over the last several months here in the greater Houston metro from a real estate market perspective. Things are becoming less of this thing where it was almost like video game crazy levels of increase. Things are definitely more chill, a little bit more calm, and they're definitely becoming a little bit more fair and a little bit more balanced on all parties. But as we enter into the new year, there are some factors that I think are going to still hold true throughout the greater Houston metro. And the first thing that I think is still going to be the same is that we're going to continue to see a lot of people from different cities and different states relocating here. Right now, there are different stats that say between 800 and like 1,000 people move to the greater Houston metro a day. And I know that that is true just by all of the beautiful people that reach out to me on this channel that say, hey, Aaron, I'm thinking about making the move. I'm thinking about bringing my family. I'm thinking about transferring a job. I'm thinking about making the move to Houston. Dozens of people hit me up a day. So I know that that number of 1,000 people a day is potentially true just by the sheer number of people that hit me up to relocate here. So I do think that those numbers are going to continue to increase. The last few years have done a great job of showing us that a lot of these tasks and these jobs that many people hold can be done completely remote. And so because employers want to keep those all-star employees happy and keep things kind of moving forward in the company, a lot of my people that have relocated here can still maintain their remote job status, keep their high-paying jobs, and then move to a much more affordable place like Houston and just basically have a way better quality of life because they're not forced to stay in a more expensive place like certain parts of Florida or certain parts of New York or certain parts of California. So I really think that the relocators are going to continue to pile in here, especially as people become a little bit more hybrid, where maybe you're in the office 1 day a week or you're completely remote. Those type of people I think are going to continue to flood here, because when you look at what you can get for your buck for 300, 400,000 here compared to a New York, compared to a California, compared to many places of Florida where a lot of my people move from, it is night and day what you can get here for 400,000 versus any of those other places. My second prediction for the year is that interest rates are still going to hover in that like 5.5% to 6.5% interest rate. I think that things are going to stabilize. And the crazy thing about this is that a few years ago, that was normal. I think we were so spoiled with everything going on to see those 2% interest rates and 3% interest rates for so long that people just assumed that that would be the new norm, but that just wasn't sustainable. If you make borrowing money that easy, if you make the value of money that easy to get, it just knocks the whole economy out of whack. And so there was going to always be some kind of a correction. And that's what we're seeing with all the Fed rates rising now. And as a ripple effect of that, borrowing money to buy a home is now way more expensive. And because of that, you're starting to see that the buyer pool is shrinking, and not really shrinking as if people are just falling out of the market. But a person that was once able to afford a $500,000 house is looking at somewhere around that $400,000 range. And that is a completely different house, especially here in Houston, especially in new construction. That's a completely different house look. So because the interest rates are going to be what they are, because they're going to stabilize and be somewhere in that mid to upper fives to the mid to upper sixes. Those that are financially able to handle that larger payment, those that are realistic in making the adjustments of saying, do I need that super brand new home, or do I just need the space and I can make it home at a lower or cost entry? You're going to have to make the tough decisions. There are going to be options out there. There's going to be deals out there, but you have to make the tough decision if you're going to go a little bit smaller, maybe reduce that dream a little bit, maybe reduce the idea of the house that you had in mind when everything was at those 2% and 3% interest rates, because that payment is just no longer the same with the interest rates that we have. So if you're realistic, there's definitely going to be some opportunities out there, but you're going to probably have to make an adjustment to what you were once looking at, because the affordability of what that thing once was is no longer the case here in this market. The third prediction is that resale homes or existing homes are going to be a great place for buyers to secure a property. Because things are the way they are, because interest rates have done what they have done, the incentives that you're being offered, the deals, the negotiations that you're being able to be offered in today's market compared to just a couple years ago, compared to 6 months ago, things are drastically different here in the greater Houston metro. And to my people that are open to resale homes, they are getting outstanding deals right now. I know the last 4 or 5 homes that I've negotiated for my clients, I've been able to get price reductions off of the listing and closing costs, been able to get them to pay down interest rates. I've been able to do some miraculous things that I haven't been able to do here in the greater Houston metro for the past probably like 2 years here. And so the incentives and the ease of buying a home in the resale market right now is going to continue to get better for people that are looking to relocate and move to the greater Houston metro. It's just going to be an outstanding place for you to buy a home. I'm having conversations and I'm asking for things up front that I would have only dreamt about doing 2 years ago when the market was piping hot. Your offer would have been thrown in the shredder and you would have been laughed at. You would have been cursed out in an email for some of the things that I'm asking for right now on the resale side. And this is the time. If you are financially ready, if you are realistic about what you can afford and what that looks like in today's market, then this is an outstanding time for resale. We're just going to get as many incentives as we can. We're going to get as much seller contribution as we can. Right now is an outstanding time to buy resale. My fourth prediction for the greater Houston metro is that new construction sales are going to continue to be bonkers. Like right now, I go through my emails every morning and I see numbers as high as 50, 75,000. I've seen $100,000 worth of price reductions and incentives in an email for different builders. And so I continue to see that this is the trend with everything going on. It all kind of piggybacks off of each other. The higher interest rates cause some of these communities that already have a ridiculously high tax rate to become unaffordable. And so they have to provide an ability for people to get into a home. So if that means reducing the price of the home, if that means them paying down an interest rate, that means them locking down at a much lower interest rate and giving you a special kind of no PMI product, they are going to have to get creative to get people back in the door to buy new construction homes. But again, if you are financially ready, if you are realistic about what new construction can be bought at your price point in this market, you are going to win. If I scroll through my email every day, I'm getting $5,000 off, 10, 15, 20, up to $100,000 off at the luxury price point of houses that you can save on right now in the new construction market. They just want to get someone in the door to be able to finance these houses. And so if you're in the new construction game, it's even easier than the resale game because they're throwing everything at you. They're throwing structural upgrades. They're throwing money off of the house overall price. They're throwing money at closing costs. They're throwing money at the design center. They're doing everything that they possibly can to get you in the door in new construction. So my fourth prediction for this coming year is that is going to continue to occur as long as the interest rates kind of remain where they are, and as long as the buyer demand is where it is. I think we're going to continue to see those type of incentives and those type of eagerness for builders to be your best friend in this market continue. My fifth prediction for this year in the real estate market here in Houston is that inventory is going to continue to be a seller's market. However, it is going to continue to increase and continue to be a little bit more fair. So there was a point here, around a year ago where there was less than 2 months of inventory here in the greater Houston metro. A balanced market here in the greater Houston metro is somewhere between 5 and 6 months of inventory. If you're not familiar with what that means, it's basically just a rate at which people are buying in the marketplace. So for example, if you had 2 months of inventory in the market and buyers and sellers were having that exchange at a normal rate and no more houses were added to the inventory, in 2 months all of the houses in the market currently listed would be sold. Right now we're sitting somewhere between 2 and 3 months in the greater Houston metro, which is almost double what it was around a year ago. And so I think you'll continue to see that number increase, but I don't think we're anywhere close to it being at a normal market of 5 to 6 months, just because there's not enough inventory hitting the market and the demand at this point is no longer chasing all of the inventory that is on the market off of it. And so you're going to see this healthy balance of prices kind of remaining the same / going up just slightly because there's still a demand to meet those numbers, but there's not enough inventory on the market to basically tank the market value. So you're going to continue to see a slow appreciation in the greater Houston metro, but at the same time, if you're on the buyer side of this thing, you're going to be able to get better deals. You're going to be able to get some money off of the listing price. You're going to be able to get some incentives. You're going to be able to get some closing costs. Sellers on the opposite side of you, however, are going to be more eager because they're seeing that the inventory is going up. They're seeing more competition. They're going to need to sell this house so they don't have to carry 2 mortgages, or they're going to need the funds for a bigger down payment on a new construction home, or whatever the case may be. They're going to need to sell this home, and they're going to be a lot more eager to talk to you and negotiate with you because things have changed in the overall market. And the sixth prediction that I have for the greater Houston metro is I think the shape and the face of what I have considered our Houston suburbs is going to continue to expand. I saw this on my trip home to Baton Rouge, that they've expanded past Mount Bellevue, which is on the far east side of Houston right now. And they're out into a place that's called like Anahuac or Anuak or something like that. And I just see the developers stretching further and further east. I know that when I was doing some touring out near Cypress, I'm seeing them stretch further and further northwest past Hockley. And I know that when I was out kind of west, I was seeing them stretch further and further towards Brookshire out there in the west side of Houston. I know that they're going to continue to develop that land that is on the far outskirts of what we consider Houston right now. And I think that we're going to get more and more used to seeing those little pockets, those little rural towns develop into the Houston metro, even though right now we don't consider those areas to be Houston. So what do you think? What are your predictions? Do you think that right now is a great time to buy, a great time to sell? What do you plan on doing in the greater Houston metro this year? Let me know in the comment sections what you plan. Are you going to stay put? You're going to rent one more year? You're ready to sell that thing? Let me know what you're thinking about doing in the greater Houston metro. YouTube thinks that you should check this video out next, so after this one, go on ahead and click that one. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you have an amazing day.